Oh,
Did you
and I
hear
heard
about
Texas?
Go ahead.
Texas wants to get the fuck out of America, so they want to secede from the US by 2023, allegedly. And not that they haven't been talking about it, and they have their own
Yeah.
grid and shit, and that worked really well last year for them.
Yeah,
But
real well.
but
Especially those few days it didn't work really well for them.
yeah, if you're a
But
United
they didn't
State, you
rely
don't
on
wanna
the
be
government.
United well, if you're a United State and you decide you don't wanna be a part of the United States, why can't you? You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
because if I'm not sure of the status of the United States on this one, but I know in Canada, you have to sign to the Constitution to be a part of the Confederation or
Yeah,
the Federation. And in Canada, Quebec never
Quebec.
technically Quebecois never technically signed into our Constitution. So there is a legal standing onto why or how they could secede from the nation, but it makes no fucking sense. It makes no sense, and the same argument goes to Texas here. Uh, like, yes, Texas could probably survive on its own for a little while, but why?
Well,
Why?
Texas is
Why?
one of those rare anomalies, those one I'll probably get bitch said about this, but, like, most people who vote, as soon as it matters to them, then they're like, "Oh, leave me the fuck alone," right? But it's like, leave Texas alone, no government involvement, no government this and that, except for when they've got things they wanna put in place, you know what I'm saying? So then it makes sense to separate themselves from the main government because they wanna govern themselves. It's a state, you do your thing, but it's like seems like we get either, like, one way dramatic this way or one way dramatic that way with Texas. It's not like, down the middle. You've got this weird anomaly of Austin, Texas, that's very, like, progressive in its living and thinking, but then
More
you've got,
progressive?
like, the rest of the area that's not at all. So it's weird, man, it's weird. I don't know if it's the best idea to separate themselves. I think maybe just change government there. Has
Yeah.
there been a
Well, they
lot of
definitely
pushback from
won't
the
change.
federal government? Like
Like there's no way Texas will like they're conservative through and through,
for
and that's
sure,
fair,
but
and that's why Texas has low taxes. That's why Texas is high on rights. You can carry,
well,
you
sure, a little
can
bit.
freedom of speech, you can well, let's not even get into that because technically, if you think about it, Texas, the government will protect a, uh, a you can abort a fetus up until a detectable heartbeat, and whereas somewhere like New York, you can abort like right up until like 8 months of pregnancy.
That's those extremes, like I'm saying, it's
So
like, what the
so
fuck?
that's it. That's it. It's like it depends. It really depends. Like they're big on rights, and that's rights of the unborn as well. And the only way that you're going to be able to maintain those values and the system that Texas has is by voting a certain way. And that certain way is Republican. And, as I look at Texas from Canada, it looks like a great place to live. You have low taxes, low regulation, low government, high freedom, and so it just makes you think which way is better. Now I do want to read this article to see if it states in the benefits of seceding from the nation, how it would help. So
Don't you wanna
the
say succeed too? Every time I read that, I wanna say
secede
succeed.
succeed they want to
Mm,
succeed, but they
mm,
don't. They want to secede
seceded.
secede
Mm,
secede. I don't even know the proper way to say it.
I don't even know what that word means.
The
Let's see.
demand for Texans to be allowed to vote on the issue in 23 was one of the many measures adopted in the Texas GOP's party platform following last week's state convention in Houston. Under a section titled State Sovereignty, the platform states, pursuant to Article 1, Section 1 of the Texas Constitution, the federal government has impaired our right to local self government. Therefore, federally mandated legislation that infringes upon the 10th Amendment rights of Texas should be ignored, opposed, refused, and nullified. So that's where they're saying that they are, I guess, have the right to leave because they're not being given the right to self-governance, which is state sovereignty.
Yeah, I
Uh,
just always one of those things again, it's like, just because I grew up with extreme religion in my household, it's like, picking and choosing things in the Torah or in the Bible, and it's like, it seems like Texas government is very like, "We don't wanna be opposed, we don't wanna be regulated, we don't want this, but we wanna do it to our citizens." It's like, "Oh, okay, so you wanna have the control, that's what it is. You just don't want anyone to control you." That makes sense. Like, that's always how it goes. It's like, "We don't want these rules. We want no government body unless we need you to govern something for us." And it's like, "Okay, I just" it's hard for me to follow. It's like, so is it gonna be anarchy there, or the people get every bit of voting for every single thing, or is it still gonna be big government does what big government does? I don't know.
Well,
I
the thing
never
is
trusted
about
the
government is as it gets as big as it does, it gets out of control. Like in
yeah,
my opinion, no matter what, and then spending gets out of control, infringement upon rights gets out of control, and so on and so forth. So I just think the likelihood of Texas splitting from the rest of the nation is incredibly
slim,
unlikely.
slim.
Even if they vote to actually do it, I just don't think it'll happen. A
Well, and
referendum
especially the
is what's going to happen.
resources
That's a
that,
vote to the people.
like,
Hmm?
what does Texas produce too? You gotta think about that.
That's it.
Anything that
Well, that's
Texas
just it.
produces where,
That's
you know,
it.
America's gonna be, "No, no, 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 no. That's
Right.
ours."
That's ours.
No.
Right. Like water
Mm-mm.
and oil and
Yeah.
all I don't know how many. Like, is
Border
Texas?
patrol was
Texas
probably
is
just
on a border
financially lucrative.
on the ocean, right? Texas borders the ocean
There's a
on a
little
lot of
bit,
it. Oh, a
a little bit, a
little,
lot of bit, maybe.
lot of it. Yeah. But yeah, we'll have to see. It'll be interesting to see. I can't say that curious to see what his resources are.
Yeah.
Oh, there is okay. So there's
There's a
fair
lot of
bit from
it.
Louisiana to Mexico. Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
right, right.
I don't
Huh.
know. I don't know. I just don't see it happening. It's another one of those things.
No,
It's
me
another
neither.
one of those things, you know?
It just
It's
doesn't
like
make any sense. You're stronger. Why would you become your own nation? Like just for America to protect you anyway. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like it's like, like
that's what'll
America.
happen, like
America protects the whole world, so you're just gonna
exactly.
secede so that America could protect you, so you can feed off of the
So then they could do
federal
what they want.
military. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
This is
Meh.
exactly
Who
my point.
knows?
This is like, when I was a kid, my grandparents left the synagogue and started their own synagogue because they didn't like the rules and they didn't like all this shit. Lo and behold, they did the same fucking thing, but it was
Yeah,
their
right.
rules and it was
But it
their
was
side. It's like, okay, okay, and it seems like that's a real government thing to do as well, is it's like,
yeah,
let's break apart. We wanna do our own thing. We don't like the way this is done." Well, maybe like America and our taxes that we were pissed about, and we left a whole 'nother country,
that's
and
right.
then we come here and we do the same fucking thing to our people.
That's right. But we
So I
didn't.
don't
But
know,
we didn't
it's
enslave though. We
no,
didn't
no,
colonize
we did
and
a mental slavery thing instead.
yeah, on our own people.
Yeah,
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 rather than the world's people.
yeah,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
There's
Ethical.
pluses and minuses, huh?
Yeah, yeah,
There's pluses and minuses, huh?
yeah, you know,
Oh God.
whatever.